Yes, Misty?
Are you excited about what I'm excited about?
Oh, I think I am, Misty. But can I have 3 guesses just to be sure?
Okay, go for it.
Is it the new Maleficent movie coming out?
Wait, crap, yes. But no! I am excited about that too, but it's not that.
Okay. Is it the fact that it is summer?
No, because we're going to be hot and gross.
Is it getting a dinosaur cookie?
That sounds pretty good, but no. This thing wins all of the awards.
Okay, what is it?
Halloween!
Halloween!
Yay!
Welcome back to the Candy Kinkdom with Lace and Misty. The Candy Kinkdom is a podcast for littles and bigs, where we provide resources and support and a safe space to learn together. So sit back, grab your sippy, stuffy and passy, and boo!
So excited to be bringing you our second bonus episode ever, and it's gonna be all about Halloween. So excited!
Ooh, spooky. So, okay, we should do this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Candy Kingdom. Lace and Missy, yes. Thanks for tuning in. Today
lots of fun stuff today.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. We talking about Halloween and actually this is the first episode we're filming for all of October, which is kind of exciting too.
Yes, we've been dealing with lots of junk.
Yeah. So before we get into the episode, Misty, what's in the news this week?
Well, I'm very excited about Halloween, as I said, but even before that, tomorrow on Friday, Daddy and I are going away for a little vacation for the weekend. I'm so excited. We're going to a new play space that includes a separate section for littles specifically. So I cannot wait. I'm going to take pictures. And put them up, and I just will tell you guys how it went.
Yeah, and you're gonna put it onto Instagram as well.
Of course. And I'm also really excited to spend 3 hours of one-to-one daddy time with no distractions in the car, and just the two of us just having a good time. And then we're gonna go to our hotel. I really want us to go to the beach and get massages and all sorts of fun stuff. I heard that where we're going is a really nice place.
Oh, that's so exciting. How lovely.
I know. I'm so excited. And I think I mentioned in the last episode, no, I wouldn't have, but I've been diagnosed with ADHD, which is a massive shock to everyone who knows me and has listened to me speak for 10 minutes when I'm not super interested in what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked.
Poor Lace has to repeat stuff constantly. We did talk about it a little bit, I'm remembering now, in the last episode, because she constantly has to be you have just changed the subject and I don't know where your mind just went to.
Or it'll be, I ask you a question and you're
Yeah, I frequently just lose my words in the middle of a sentence. I could be telling you a really fascinating story, but then it just gets lost in the void because I've noticed something else or another thought has come in. So I've been on medication, which has been making me the benefits on me concentration and focus were very evident. I actually wasn't sitting there bored to death.
And I think one of the things that you said to me that was really telling is you're well, the song that's been in my head for the last 6 weeks is gone.
Oh,
so
my
that's
God.
Nice.
Lace, it's not been the last 6 weeks. It's literally from the moment I get up, there's a song in my head, and to the moment I go to sleep. I'm trying to fall asleep, and it's not always the same song. It's just random songs. And someone explained it really well. They were it's someone left the radio on, and it's just and it gets triggered by anything. So if someone says a phrase or I remember something, a new song will start playing. It's not an earworm. It's not music that I've heard. it's just like random music all the time. So it was a bit weird when it wasn't happening. I was like, wow, it's really quiet in my head. Like, this is kind of disconcerting. Is this what like everyone else is doing?
Yeah, kind of.
But the downside was that it made me really nauseous.
Yeah.
I lost 2 kilos because I had no appetite as well. I just like was not coping well.
And this was
so
all
we've
happening.
changed my medication.
This was all happening when you were still on keto, wasn't it?
Yeah, so then I had to stop that as well, and stop intermittent fasting, because I like read on forums what to kind of do to help with the nausea, and people were just advising me to eat when I take the medication. But then I posted again, and it was like 4 weeks later, and they were like, mate, it shouldn't be taking this long for the side effects to go away. I think you need to like try something new. So I'm on something new. I started on Sunday. I had therapy yesterday with my mental health nurse, and she had some words for me. She was like, I can tell that you're finding it really hard to focus today, is what she said.
Well, you didn't
and the
have
song
to say
is
it
back
with
in
words.
my head. Oh, she called me out. She's like, and then like she wanted me to track my sleep, and I'm like, oh, that's easy because my Fitbit does it. And so I started telling her about like my last week. And then I just kept going, and she was like, no, I don't need to know those ones. But I was like, but I'm already in the swing of things, so you're going to have to hear how I slept on the 11th of October, because you started me on this, and now I have to finish, and it's your fault.
Cool. So this medication's working really well, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's doing a great job. And I really love going to my mental health nurse because I'm really good at reading people. So I can just tell when I've pissed her off and she's trying to like woosah. Like yesterday she was like, I've always had trouble sleeping when I was a child, and she was like, okay, well, why don't you try this this music? It's been formulated by scientists, it's at a certain frequency. And I was just like,
oh, like binaural beats.
Yes, except I went, if it's classical music, I'm gonna hate it. And you just saw her. Her face was just like, well, why don't you give it a try? And I was just like, I will. I'm not saying I'm not gonna do it. I'm just saying that like
I already hate it.
I've tried. I didn't mean to like discourage her, but I do that crap all the time. She's like, why don't you try this? And then I start talking about something else, and she's just like visibly frustrated. It's really funny. It cracks me up anyway. Anyway, enough about me. Let's hear about Miss Lace.
Well, today I've been sick at home. It's a miracle that I have a voice right now because it's been bad. It's been pretty bad. And it's been like summer flu, I think. And we've had some pretty crappy weather. Yeah. The last week's been kind of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Actually, last month or so, that's just spring in Adelaide. But particularly today, it's been 37 degrees. And tomorrow, and it's going to drop overnight and thunderstorms. And then tomorrow it's going to be 19. So
what on earth?
Oh, mate, it's awful. And I think it's like, I had no voice yesterday and I felt really groggy. And then today I have like hot nose and sinuses and body aches, and it's just crap. And I was supposed to go to yoga tonight, which I desperately wanted to go to because I love yoga, but
I can't believe it.
I know.
It makes sense because you're a little rope bunny, so like yoga's beneficial for that.
So much, especially because in the yoga that I do, there actually is a component where you do like self-suspension and inversions.
No way.
Yes. And they're like, this is going to be a bit scary going upside down the first time, and then I'm already upside down. And they were like, oh, have you done this before? And I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
I actually came clean to the yoga instructor at the end. I'm like, look, do you know what shibari is? And she's like, no. And I told her what I do because there was no point lying. Like, there's
a little teaching moment for Vanilla.
I just didn't want to be like, because she knew, she's like, you're really flexible and you take inversions really well. And I was like, well, okay, this is shibari, this is what it is. And she's like, did people do that sort of stuff in Adelaide? And I'm like, yes. And I just wasn't going to tell her where, but I was like,
no, fair enough.
Yeah, it does happen, and other things, but we won't go there. You know, I'm just going to tell you what you need to know.
Exactly.
And I told her it in a very matter-of-fact way, so there wasn't any consent broken, and I think she genuinely wanted to know, so that was kind of an interesting moment for me.
I mean, and also she's an adult, and you're not like here are my genitals, you know?
Yeah. And it was relevant because it was to do with yoga, and yoga is a very athletic thing, and so is shibari, and they're athletic in similar spaces, so that's why I thought it was appropriate. But yeah, it was fun for me to discuss. That being said, rope's been interesting. I haven't really been going a lot the last little bit. I'm not really seeing my rigger anymore. We had a bit of a moment, which is really difficult to deal with. And I think that's part of why I sort of stepped back a little bit from just sort of everything kink related and just needed to process that. So yeah, that's been a journey. But anyway, so that's kind of what's new with me. Oh, and so while I've been sick today, actually, I've been spamming our poor Instagram.
Oh my God, so much
Instagram story. And I've been documenting the creation of turning my living room into a Christmas cave, or like Little's cave. So that's been fun. If you want to go see me be delirious and do lots of experimental carpentry, go ahead and watch our highlight of Lace being sick, I think it's called.
Yes.
I think I might just change it to Lace's delirium, because that's essentially what it's been.
It's more apt, honestly. But you were making sense. My favorite bit was the bit with your handprints. I was like, oh my gosh, this is official. She's officially lost it.
I was just spanking the mattress of the cushions.
I'm sure. That should be a sexual innuendo.
Well, it was, so that's why I laughed.
Spanking my mattress. Whoops.
That's
my
so funny.
bad.
All right, this is enough of this. Let's get on to the episode.
Yes. So, Halloween. I wanted to talk about how Halloween is one of the official little holidays. Okay? We get to claim this. I mean, obviously, not every little is going to like Halloween because we're not all cookie cutter, but I think it's a valid holiday for littles. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I do. I think it has lots of elements of role play and people kind of getting in touch with the taboo aspects of themselves.
Oh, yeah. Getting into the weird and freaky.
Yeah, lots of people, as you were saying before, because we were kind of talking about this a little bit ago, and you were talking about how people did dress up as adult babies, and we're like, yes.
You can be whoever you want to be. You can act strangely, you know? It's okay to be a freak on Halloween. And us kinky folk, we're freaks. And we know it.
We're using the word freak in a reclaiming sense, not a...
Yes, in a loving way.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I definitely identify as a freak, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into our other section. And really, the one excuse for why we even wanted to do this episode was so we could talk about, the next thing that we're going to talk about. But I also really like Halloween because it lets people be silly. It lets people get in touch with their inner child.
Yeah.
It lets you indulge in the things that you grew up doing. You know, you get out your Halloween decorations, you tell ghost stories. Like, I mean, it's just fantastic. I love it. And then not to mention all of the things that like happen because of Halloween, you know, I mean, the candy.
Oh my gosh. Even here in Australia, and I think it bears saying that we don't really celebrate Halloween that much here. It's more of an American holiday, especially because we're on the wrong side of the wheel of the year, which we'll mention about that in a minute.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But it is something that is not super popular here, but over the last, I want to say 5 or so years, you know where it started, Misty? It started in people would have Halloween parties, which was just another excuse to get drunk. And then, because Australians are like, oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day, we're not Irish, but you know what? Let's drink. Yeah. And I think it was a similar sort of idea. And then I guess it sort of filtered in with movies, and Australia kind of has been susceptible to a lot of westernization, like Americanization and other cultural influence, but America's a big one. And I guess I've actually started getting trick-or-treaters, and I genuinely I'll put something out in my front of my house so that people know that they can come and trick-or-treat, and I'll have a little cauldron of candies. And you're right, they're so everywhere, frothilicate within the stores. It's all Mars bar minis and boxes of Pocky and everything. It's so cool.
I mean, my local Kohl's did a little setup where when you walk through the door, like it's a little...
It's like the archway?
Yeah,
with,
and
like,
it does a cute little
spider
laugh
webs
when you walk through it.
Yeah.
It's got spider webs, it's got the lollies
Yeah.
and the candy. It's so cute. And then Kmart comes out with the costumes now.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I actually just saw that some mom was really pissed because they've done a bride costume for little kids, and she's like, this is absolutely inappropriate.
What?
So yeah, well, she just feels like, we shouldn't be saying to little girls that that's what they're gonna grow up to be. But I'm like, wait,
but the whole point is that it's supposed to be a gory horror thing. Like, that's a really good message to send to little girls.
Oh my god, you are so funny. Like, that is the scariest costume you can think of, is just
the
being
bride.
a bride. That is so funny. I mean, yeah, and then also, what if you want to be like a undead bride or a murdered bride? Like, you just want to gore up your little wedding dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, so the very first time that I was living on my own outside of uni, working in a small town, I got heaps of trick-or-treaters. I was so excited. I didn't even really have that many decorations. I just printed out a little ghost and taped it to my front door.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was a little ghost, the white sheet, and it had its tongue out. But I got so many trick-or-treaters, and I learned my lesson from that year, that I can't just let them, put their hand in the bowl, because these kids were grabbing fistfuls, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna run out. But no, I ended up giving out almond candy. It was really great, and the kids were so happy that I was letting them just just shove your hand in there, get what you get.
It's a real novelty here. It's not but you would have. I mean, did you celebrate Halloween and go trick or treating when you were a kid?
Well, so this is also why I think it's a little holiday, because if you are someone like me who grew up in a not so great household, you maybe didn't get to celebrate holidays the same way that everyone else did. So, this is going to sound really pitiful, but I remember one Halloween trying to make a costume out of cardstock paper. Oh, you guys call it something different. Cardboard paper. We call it construction paper.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I tried to make a little Frankenstein out of that, and green paper, and tried to draw on it, and obviously it didn't work out, but we weren't allowed to trick-or-treat or anything because it was seen as the devil's holiday, which is kind of funny considering the topic we're going to speak about next. And what else? Oh yeah, we never had people coming to our doors to trick-or-treat. I mean, that's also because I lived in the hood, so little Black and Spanish kids aren't going up to strangers' houses in the hood. So that might be a drug dealer.
Because that's a really interesting point you've made there, because I would never have even considered that. I just sort of thought it's a kind of safe holiday for everybody in America to participate in,
Nope.
Yeah, there you go.
You're in the hood, man. Nothing's safe.
Mate, there you go.
Oh, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's another reason why I think it's a great little holiday, is because if you were like me and you didn't get to have that, you get to have it now. And then also being on the other side of the experience, being the one who gives out the candy,
it's so
makes
nice.
me so happy.
Yeah.
It's oh my gosh, these guys are experiencing something I didn't get to experience, and I might be one small minute on their trip around, but I still had something for them.
Especially because here it's such a non-event, and I think kids get really excited. I remember one year when I was living here, but I had a partner at the time who was from California, and he was here for Halloween, so we were watching Scary Movie. Well, not scary, like, I can't handle scary movies. I never have been able to, even before I was a little. So now I just like super can't. But yeah, we're watching movies and I made all this kind of like Halloween themed food and stuff. And I was kind of getting to live my American dream. And my mom was having dinner with a friend who's actually a neighbor, and she was just like just one street over. And she rang me and she's like, some people that were trick-or-treating came to our house and I told them to come to you so they can get candy. And they came and they were like, trick-or-treat. And I was like, oh, here you go. And I had like I had this candy that was like the candy necklaces and candy bracelets and things like that. And
I love those
with the clock on them and stuff. And that was the only trick-or-treaters we had, so they got so much candy because I was like, just take the bucket.
See, that's the good part as well. Like, you score a house that like I just remember like watching those Halloween movies where the kids would get really excited because they found a good house, or they'll say like, Mrs. Johnson always gives you this, so we should go to her first. Like,
let's go to her house because she does full bars. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Halloween is so good, and I just love spooky shit, honestly.
Yeah, you do.
I love scaring the crap out of myself. As long as Quinn's in the bed next to me.
And you're wearing dips.
Exactly. I gotta stay prepared, stay padded,
Actually, just on dips real quickly, and this should have got in the news section, but here we are. So I've become friends with somebody in the local community who's into ABDL, and she bought some dips and they were too big for her. And I was like, oh. And it kind of interested me, and I was like, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see if they'll fit me properly, and
that's so exciting.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know how that goes.
Are they disposables or reusable?
I think they're probably disposables.
It's fair. I mean, I used my fair share of them. I used 100. It's fine.
I mean, I haven't used any, so I mean, and I might not like them anyway. So, but I just thought that was an interesting thing that I would mention.
Oh, you'll have to update us.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, it doesn't really matter that we didn't follow a structure because this is a bonus episode anyway. I think it's a little bit more structured than our first one was.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
We were tired when we were doing that one. That made a difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yes, so that's why Halloween is a Littles holiday. And if you guys think of other stuff, like, we're not ever the authority on everything, this is the Littles Bible.
Yeah, this is just how we
read the Bible.
No, that's true as well. I think also, like, Halloween seems to be very much embraced by the kink world, and I mean, like, there's always, every city has a Halloween kink party. In fact, there's one this weekend in my city, and I was going to go to it, but because I'm so sick and I don't want to make everybody else sick, I decided to pull out because it was booked out. Like, it was packed, and they can hold a lot of people at this place. And I was like, nah, give my spot to someone else. I just actually
thought of an idea about why you could have gone. You could have worn a cute mask, and then, like, the sickness mask, the anti-dust particle, whatever mask.
Yeah, I could have gone as like a nurse or something. Yeah,
because I just got one. I should post a picture of it. But it's a reusable one, and it's got a little cat face on it.
Or maybe I should like get one of those medieval like plague doctor masks and terrify everyone.
Look, that's less cute than the look I'm going for, but
with like a cute little baby doll chemise dress situation, then it could be cute.
Oh yeah, that's plague doctor ready.
Yeah, it's just doctors and nurses, but I'm the doctor.
Oh man, you're so funny.
Anyway, so yeah,
I like mine. It glows in the dark. It's cool.
That's super cute.
And that means, like, now when Daddy are playing, we can take pictures and not really worry about, like, my face because I've got my little cat mask as well.
Aw, that's right. Exactly. Beautiful.
Yeah, so... Right. Moving on to why we really wanted to do this episode. Because, well, Lace, do you want to explain?
Well, we're witches, basically.
The next section is about witchcraft.
Yeah. So Halloween comes from the pagan holiday of Hallows Eve, or I never pronounce this right. Is it pronounced Samhain?
Samhain. I think
it's phonetically, if you're going to say it, it's like Samhain, but it's basically Halloween. This is one of the so in pagan tradition, there's this thing called the Wheel of the Year, which you have like you could think of it as like witch holidays for every single turn of the season.
Yep.
And this one coincides with the kind of beginning of autumn or the middle of autumn. No, it's the autumn equinox, so it's like the middle of autumn. And it's when everything's starting to die off, or your crops are starting to die. You're heading into the dark period of the year. And this time in Australia, the opposite end is, I think it's Beltane. It could be Litha. I can't remember.
I think it's Beltane.
Yeah, and that is the other...
You keep talking, I'll look it up.
And that's the other side of, like, the spring equinox. Anyways, I'm fairly certain, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these two times of the year is when the veil between our world and the spiritual world is at its thinnest.
So it's said.
And so it says. And that's why they celebrate Halloween, particularly the witches and the pagan tradition, is because it's like, this is when they do a lot of their kind of communing with the spirit
stuff. So we're both really Lace is more of a experienced witch than I am. Like, she is actually the reason why I kind of picked it up again. Like, I remember having the interest as a child because I went to the library once and I got this book, and the most distinct thing that I remember reading about it is about casting a circle, which is what you do to, like, protect yourself and keep your space sacred while you're
doing
practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like an emotion, like a spiritual barrier, so that bad energy doesn't go into your good space.
Yeah. And if you're someone who's, like, super, Christian, or we're not judging at all, so this might be a section that you might want to skip.
That being said, Christian Wicca is a thing, and so many Christian holidays come out of paganism. So
You mean Christian witchcraft? Because Wicca's a religion.
Sorry, yeah, no, there is Christian Wicca and there is Christian witchcraft.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yep. They see the god character as like the overarching spirit, and then there are little spirits beneath, which is not like too far away from reality. But yeah, like, so many Christian traditions come out of paganism. So I think it's really important for Christians to research and understand paganism and realize how much of the Christians always see paganism as like this death, satanic, horrible thing.
Well, see, that's where I was gonna go next. Is I got that book and it told me how to cast a circle, and I distinctly remember it saying to picture something concrete, and what I chose were leaves. I think I was like 13 or something. And it was a time where I was feeling really powerless and overwhelmed, like, obviously being in the situation that I was in. And then I had seen Harry Potter, where, Harry gets rescued from his abusive situation, not forever, but, like, for most of the year. And he gets to have his power. He gets to be the most powerful wizard. And he gets to be this famous person who, like, can save the wizarding world. So, like, that was really important to me. So I went, but then my mom was like, I think she somehow found out, or maybe she was just, like, worried about, like, my reading of Harry Potter, and I wanted a wand and all of that stuff. And my mom is very, very Christian. She, like, literally goes on pilgrimages to where, saints were cited and all of that stuff. Like, she loves doing that stuff, and I love her for it. Like, that's her thing, but it's definitely not my path.
I grew up in a very similar sort of household. My mum wouldn't even let me watch Power Rangers or Sailor Moon because she's like, it's witchcraft. And I was always told witchcraft is this horrible thing. So naturally I was like, well, what is it? What makes it so bad? And then it turns out it's not so bad at all. Exactly. But I think that people sort of malign witchcraft as like satanic worshippers, whereas the Satan character only exists in the Christian paradigm. So, like, I think you kind of...
Well, for the most part. Like, there are definitely satanic witches, and there are definitely, like, people who are Satanists but don't even believe in witchcraft. They kind of just do it as a up yours to Christianity and, like, against all of the impositions that Christianity has about, you can't be gay, you can't, you can only procreate, like, you can only have sex for procreation.
And when you're married, like, that's some arbitrary rule.
Like, et cetera, et cetera. Can't touch women who are, like, or people who are menstruating.
Which is ridiculous.
So,
and it paints a very bleak picture of reality. And I think that when you look into before I decided that Christianity sort of wasn't really for me as a religion, not necessarily my connection with the God of that religion. It's the religion itself.
It's the organization
yes.
that, I hear a lot of people say.
Yeah.
And for me, it's both. It's the organization and sort of the experiences that I had.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
the person
fine.
who was abusing me would go to church and be like this super helpful church person, and I would see her listening to the things that the preacher was saying, and then we went home to abuse. So that hypocrisy just really was one of the reasons where I was like, nope, I'm not doing that at all.
Yeah. And that's completely, your decision to make. And if that's, some people find it really difficult to ever go back to Christianity because of that. And it's a shame, because it is a religion. When you go, well, it's a faith that has a lot of good things to it. Yeah. And I think if you bear it back and you stop going to church and you just sort of spend some time reading the Bible and try and get a translation of the Bible that's close to the original text, because it's a lot more fulfilling, and it's really difficult to translate ancient Hebrew and ancient Greek into English. There's just some words that don't work, especially when it gets filtered through, and that's the problem. That's where all of this pagan tradition's been stolen from and put into Christianity. So I think if you are a Christian who's listening and you're about to disconnect from this episode, thank you for listening, and appreciate that this isn't for you. But I will say, being a person who used to be in that space,
yes,
do your research.
There's
just make sure you know what you're following, because it's
So on November 1st is All Souls Day in Christianity, or maybe Catholicism, because I was raised Catholic, so I'm not sure about the other denominations.
Yeah.
Wow, I was too little to say that word.
And where does All Souls Day even come from?
Well, probably from everything dying and the paganist traditions of this is the time where souls are transitioning over and are gonna be close to us. So
interesting.
We could do that with everything, like Easter. And
Easter is a pagan tradition as well. If it's not in the Bible, if the Bible doesn't because the Bible is really specific about what it actually wants you to celebrate. It wants you to celebrate the Jewish feasts, Pentecost, Passover, Tabernacles, all those sorts of things. The Bible says not a single fucking thing about Christmas, Easter, anything else. If it's anything outside of the Bible readings, it's a pagan holiday that has been adopted. So
and they felt like they had to do that to get people to convert, because then it was people could still practice their paganist stuff, their traditions, but in the Christian context.
What happened is that Constantine, who was a ruler in Rome, I think it was 500 Common Era CE, and
welcome to history with
Lace.
We're dropping names.
Well, what happened was that Constantine wanted to convert the Roman Empire, which was a fiercely polytheistic deity for a very long time, to a Christian one. And the way that they did that is they said, okay, well, this character is Jesus, which is a derivative of Zeus, and we're going to take away the name of Yahweh and we're going to make it God, because it's a god, and that's really easy for people to understand. And we've got this Christmas tradition, which is really similar to Yuletime traditions, and we've got the Easter tradition, which is really similar to the fertility of Beltane and not Beltane, Litha, in that time of Northern Hemisphere. I keep forgetting. You know, they tried to basically make it palatable for the people who grew up and had spent literally hundreds of years in a polytheistic deity that kind of absorbed different religions as Rome conquered most of Europe. So that's where these things come from. So I just find it really...
Can I say something? If we think about it that way, it's a tool of imperialism and of colonialism. We know that the Bible was used to justify slavery. So I just want to kind of put that out there.
But also what I want to put out there is for Christians that are all witchcraft is the devil, paganism is the devil. It's well, then don't celebrate Christmas and Easter, because that is a pagan tradition.
Well, there are definitely denominations that don't. But anyway.
So
back to why we're witches, I guess.
And how this relates to kink in some way, shape, or form.
Yes. Well, I found before actually I even met you, Lace, this beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, beautiful dom that I played with right after she spanked the crap out of my butt and tortured me so deliciously, it was on New Year's. So she celebrated, she like did something with a ritual and jumping, like just to get into the new year, she did something with that, and she made everyone stop actually so that she could do it, and invited people who wanted to do it with her.
Is it jumping over the fire?
Yeah, that's it. And it was at midnight, and she had to be facing a certain direction, and
that sounds really similar to the May Day tradition, which happens usually in May, and it's like the Beltane pole thing. That I think that is a Beltane tradition to do, and it's at the summer solstice where you jump over the fire, and it's supposed to be like a. Hey guys, post-production Lace just dropping in. I wanted to make a couple of quick corrections because we weren't exactly on the money in this last section. So the pagan Sabbath, or the pagan season that falls over the Christian tradition of Easter in the Northern Hemisphere, is Ostara. It's the spring festival, and it has the whole eggs, bunnies, fertility, going back into the light of summer after coming out of the darkness of winter. So that's that. The tradition that we're in right now, or the season that we're in right now in Australia, is Beltane, which is, I think, diametrically opposed to Samhain or Samhain, or however you pronounce it. And that is one of the first summer seasons. And then what I think was happening in this section that we were literally just talking about with the Dom who had the fire on New Year's Eve, that is over the tradition of Litha, which has a summer solstice within it, and that's, I think, Midsummer's Eve starts at the beginning of Litha, and one of the traditions is to have a bonfire and to sort of worship the sun and reflect the sun at its strongest point, which is in the middle of summer. So just a couple of those little corrections. We're still new at all of this and still learning, so I just wanted to drop in and make sure we were getting it as right as we can. Okay, back to the episode. I don't know a lot about this particular one, but it sounds very similar to something that I know. But it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was so great. And she basically like is everything that like I picture when I think of a witch, like just a beautiful, powerful woman who embraces her feminine energy. And also, that's what traditionally witchcraft has been. So
there's also lots of documented and strong ties between BDSM and witchcraft, which I don't know enough about to go into, but I know that it is a really prominent and prevalent thing, to the point where so many people in the BDSM community and where I am are witches. Or
witches or pagans. Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to why, we should love Halloween as littles. It's because we're the outcasts. We're on the outskirts of society. We're the people who have been thought of as freaks and as being wrong.
And also within the BDSM community to a point as well.
And I'm also thinking, like, it's the same thing. Like, I saw a post, I think it was on Loving BDSM, but they were speaking about how, like, being a nerd is very prevalent in the BDSM community as well. And it's like, I just feel like we're all a community of people who had to, like, find their own place and do that on their own, or just, like, in a way that was outside of what everyone else was doing. Like, we're not mainstream.
The internet has helped a lot with connecting people like that, and helping people with resources too, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because sometimes the resources aren't really well sourced. But definitely.
Anyway, so yes, we're into witchcraft, and
which we've touched on
Lace
before.
Does a bunch of. It's more appropriate, I guess, in this sense, kind of why we wanted to do this episode. But so Lace is like my beautiful green witch.
I think of myself as kind of like a druid in that way.
Aw, I can see that so much. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like a baby witch, and speaking of, cute. I was on Reddit on one of the witchcraft groups, and I think I messaged you about this, Lace, where someone was complaining about everyone calling themselves baby witch, and they're like, we don't have to infantilize ourselves, and I'm like, lol, baby.
What do you mean don't do this? But I think what you mean by that is that you're just exploring everything to find what you like.
Yeah, it's new. It's exciting. You're learning from others. And not to say that you ever stop learning, which is another really huge thing I love about witchcraft is that
you never stop learning.
I feel like my life's purpose is to learn and to teach. And it's really funny because I tweeted that a few months back. And then recently I looked at like my, you get different tarot number correspondences based on lots of different factors, but one of my main ones was like that I love teaching and that I love learning. Basically, like I'm just here to learn as much as possible and to give that information out as much as possible. So I really like resonate with that, and I just find witchcraft empowering. You know, it takes back ownership. Like it's like this idea that you can make these things happen, and like you are one with the universe and everything is connected, and here's how you learn about yourself and explore your soul. So,
exactly. And I think that's
really beautiful.
There's nothing like wrong in that, and it was really like when I stepped out of the space of Christianity and was able to see the world with sort of fresh eyes.
Oh my God, exactly.
That I realized that actually it's just an empowerment tool. And of course Christianity is going to try and keep women especially away from something like that, because they don't want
away from seeing their own power. And then I just feel like I love that it's something that's come from tradition. I love that. I love that this is something that there's history of, and again, the history of powerful women who had knowledge. I've always loved mythology, so I get to learn more about mythology and a lot more about deities. I have my own specific deity that I feel really connected to. I'm not going to name her, but, you know, shout out to my queen anyway. And so witchcraft is cool, and this is the season of the witch. So
like that song.
I love that song. I'm obsessed with it.
I love every version of it too. There's so many fun ones.
So that is why we love and stan Halloween, because it's little, it's kinky, and it's witchy.
And it's just fun. I mean,
it's so fun.
I'm really looking forward to getting involved in like some sort of local witch group of some kind, not like a coven.
Oh, me too.
But like, I really love to be able to celebrate.
I feel like we're both kind of solitary a little bit.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have people like local to bounce ideas off.
Exactly, because it kind of becomes a bit of an echo chamber, and that's sort of why I like community. Yeah. So I would love to I mean, one thing I've noticed over the last year is that people have really started to like acknowledge that the Southern Hemisphere Sabbaths are different. And they're not like it's really overwhelming to see like Yuletide stuff around Christmas, and it's like, bitch, it's Beltane.
Well, it's not for us.
Like, it's hot, and I mean, you feel that as an Australian anyway, because so much of Christmas is built on Northern Hemisphere.
I mean, we've got, what is it, Christmas in July to kind of try to compensate for...
I don't care about that. I mean, but there's a lot of articles. There's a lot of articles that are like how to celebrate Yule in the Southern Hemisphere, because part of Yule is giving gifts to friends and family that you love, and how can you do that in July without seeming like a weirdo, or June or whenever it is, and I'm just like, I kind of love that idea though. Like, I really want to do that. And I did a little bit like in kind of I find it much easier to celebrate the summer because it's so around us, it's so overwhelming, you can't really escape it, whereas in winter it's nowhere near, it doesn't snow here, so we don't have that.
Nah.
And
it snows in some places.
It doesn't, not where I am.
Not in...
No.
Yeah.
And not only that, but stuff still grows. And the whole point about winter is you're hunkering down, you're going back into things that you've grown in the summer.
Rebirth.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like everything is still growing. It's like spring, just cold. So it's, it's sometimes going to be difficult to really like lock into those the wheel of the year
tradition
as a Southern witch, but that's okay because we make do, and there's a lot more of us. And again, the internet bringing communities together and helping people find, I guess, some community within a niche interest, which is what I like about BDSM as well. So
Exactly. Where we gather.
Mm.
So I guess the last section, I mean, I thought we could talk about past Halloween experiences, and we've kind of done that. Because, you know, neither of us really had any, because it's not really a thing here. As, you know, the people who got to go around and trick or treat, but we've had the experiences as the people who, you know, hand out candy. But I thought we could wrap up with our favorite media and our favorite things to do during this season.
I love how you've got fave media / things to do, because you know that I have no media. But I'm actually going to shock you.
Look, Lace, I wasn't going to call you out.
There were some Halloween movies I actually really like.
What? Okay, let's hear them.
Okay, so I don't know the names of them.
Oh,
but I can tell you why.
Oh my gosh. All right, welcome to trivia, movie trivia with Lace.
Silhouettes with Lace. Okay,
wow.
No, charades, not silhouettes. Charades with Lace. Okay, so the first one is got Bette Midler, somebody else, and Sarah Jessica Parker as the main three witches.
Out! She's literally talking about one of the most famous... I don't even need to say it. Everyone who's listening knows. You're talking about Hocus Pocus, babe.
That's the one. Okay, cool. And then there's Casper, the friendly
crying
ghost.
Inside.
I love
Okay,
Casper.
thank God we have a name. Yes,
90s
so
Casper.
good. Adorable.
Then there's the one with Meryl Streep and there's three women who like never want to grow old, so they have this elixir or something, and then it gets kind of hysterical, and someone's stomach gets punched out, and
what?
I'll look it up.
I'm sorry. Three women who never want to grow old. That
I don't think
like
it's
Hocus
actually
Pocus again.
I don't think it's actually a Halloween movie, but people watch it at Halloween. So. Meryl. It's an 80s film. Death Becomes Her. No. Could be called Death Becomes Her. I'm literally Googling it.
Wow. I literally have never heard that, because I think it is Death Becomes Her.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is Death Becomes Her.
Here we go.
Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's two. Yeah, okay, it's Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep. Death Becomes Her. It's a fantastic movie. So funny. And it's
what
kind
about,
of
like, I know you said that you kind of get scared of stuff, but is there anything that you do that kind of gets you in the spirit of Halloween besides, you know, buying the lollies?
Oh, I cook a lot of sort of, because we still have some residual leftover autumn stuff at this time of year. So pumpkins are still really frothica in the shops. And so I do a lot
I've got a pumpkin ready to go out on the
nice
to signal that you know, come here.
We
for
do
Halloween.
a lot of, like, you can do pumpkin carving. They have those huge pumpkins available here as well. We've got a strange growing season, so pumpkins are still okay now. What else? I do a lot of cooking. I get stuff going in the house. I mean, to be like, I love Halloween, don't get me wrong, but I'm really gearing up for Christmas because that's my thing.
I know. Honestly, I feel like sometimes Halloween is the stop over to Christmas, but I can't tell which one I like best.
Oh, Christmas,
because, well, I don't know. I grew up, like, even though my childhood was not, you know, perfect, one of the things that I loved was ABC Family, a channel that we had there, would do the 31 days of Halloween.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
25 days of Christmas. Oh my gosh. So you would just catch me in the room that we had the TV in, bumped it up under the covers, just like binge watching these movies, and it was the same kind of ones every single year. So both seasons make me feel like I just remember that peaceful time. No one's like yelling at me or anything. I'm just chilling, watching my movies, you know?
Yeah, and I think, so for you it makes sense, whereas for me, because when I was growing up, Halloween, like, I didn't even know what it was
not a thing.
I didn't even know. Well, first thing I learned about Halloween was my mum saying, you will never celebrate that, it is a witchcraft thing. And I was like, okay. And that's all I knew. So, you know. Yeah. And then American TV was coming out and lots of American movies, and they're talking about Halloween trick or treat, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Why would you be taking this from strangers? What are you doing?
Oh my God. Actually, at work the other day, this lady got so angry. She was like, we teach kids not to take stuff from strangers, but on this one day, it's suddenly okay.
That's how most Australians
ranting
feel.
about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, you don't don't go, like, when you're a child, when you're small, you don't go trick-or-treating by yourself. Like, your parents go with you. You're not eating the candy, like, as soon as you get it. Like, usually you take it all home and you have a look through it. So if, God forbid, someone did, roofie something somehow, like, most parents also have a rule where you're not allowed to eat anything that's not wrapped. So I was like trying to explain all of this to her. She was just not having any of it.
Australians are
very kind of funny,
especially older Australians are very conservative to Americanization, sort of in general, and it upsets them on a cellular level.
We've got the Australia culture.
Yeah,
that was a terrible Australian accent. That was my best one.
Look, I was gonna just gloss over it, but since you pointed it out, that was shocking. But yeah, so it's really not a thing here so much. And so for me, I think that's why. And we don't have Thanksgiving either. So there's really nothing there's no barriers between October and Christmas. So
yeah.
And you've got to remember
like,
too
Christmas.
And Christmas for us is when the weather starts heating up. And that starts happening now. So that's why we're all like, oh, Christmas time's happening. It's starting to get hot.
Yes.
So yeah. That being said, I do transplant a lot of Northern Hemisphere Christmas traditions. Like, I do a lot of gingerbread baking. I have a lot of, like, essential...
Weren't your overnight oats today, like...
gingerbread and chocolate? Yeah.
Also, for the record, gingerbread is disgusting.
Look, but right now. I don't agree with that, but that's fine. You can think whatever wrong thing you like. So yeah, it's kind of like a blend of traditions for me. But that's the beauty of witchcraft. There's nothing that says you can't, and it's all just about, do what makes you feel
works for you.
Good. And your
you
days.
Say witchcraft, but also freaking kink is the exact same thing. It's like, customize that bitch. Oh my God, I haven't sworn once in this episode.
That's a lie. You've said fuck like 3 times.
No way.
No, you have.
Have I? Shit. I thought I was being good. My bad. I'm so sorry for little ears. But yeah, so I think, can I say my favorite?
Yes, please. I was going to say, tell us.
So I really love Monster House. Okay, this is such an underrated movie for me. I just feel like more people, if you've never seen it, can you just please give it a chance, especially if you're little and you're in like a little space right now. You'll totally love it. It's not too spooky. It like ends up being surprisingly wholesome. I also love Halloween Town and all of its various sequels. I also keep the Halloween spirit going every day by reading this Reddit called No Sleep, okay? So I'll read these stories that people write, and you're not allowed to say that isn't real. You've got to, like, in the comments, everyone pretends that what the person has told us about actually happened. And it's, like, got that role-playing again in it. So I read those stories like almost every day. If I'm bored, I'll just pull up a story on there, and there's some fantastic writers on there. And I also have subscribed to Wholesome No Sleep when I'm feeling like, you know what, I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, which is like the same thing, spooky, scary stories, but the ending is a little bit good. So I should link to the one that I read recently. That was my favorite one. With trigger warnings, of course, but it's really good, and it just makes you feel like justice has been served, and justice is a huge part of my personality. So I gobbled that story up. And then I have always, this is gonna make me sound so weird, but I've always been really fascinated by like serial killers. I know I'm so weird, but I just like reading about them, and I'm not like one of those people. There are people who like idolize them and like want to marry them, and like, you know, mass shooters and stuff. Like they like write them fucking love letters. Like I would never ever do that. Like I just find it incredibly fascinating to think about the fact that there are people out there that are like, they look like everyone else, but the way they think is without regard for others,
which is
like,
so foreign.
It's so foreign to me that I'm just like, how? And so it fascinates me, absolutely. So I read a lot about that as well, and I read a lot about I listen to podcasts about crime, which are very popular now. So I don't think I'm the only one. Like, I think we all
a lot of people
understand where those people kind of come from. And maybe it's a bit of a fear thing as well. Like, we're like, maybe if we have all of this information, we'll be able to keep from meeting one or being one of the victims or anything like that. And that kind of stuff just absolutely fascinates me. So,
well, I mean, whatever you're into, babe. That's terrifying, and I'm not doing it, but someone has to.
Look, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to lock my door, and I'm like, oh, Quinn would be such a bad guard dog. Like, they would just bring food, and she'd be like, yeah, mate,
come in.
Yeah, come right in.
I'm just having a look online at the 45 of the best Halloween movies for kids, and there's actually some really good ones, which I'm going to say now.
Okay, yes, go for it.
So we've got Toy Story of Terror.
What?
Which I've never heard of. I think it's going to come out this year, maybe, but it's...
wait, does it mean Little Shop of Horrors?
No, Toy Story of Terror. Buzz and Woody are at it again. The characters end up stranded at a roadside motel as toys start to disappear. The crew has to band together and figure out what's going on. There's also The Dog Who Saved Halloween. This dog has some new tricks and treats. That's so funny. So talking dog named Zeus. And
you can't fault a talking dog. Like, I was just about to say, like, something I grew up watching was Scooby-Doo as well.
That's on this list as well.
Oh,
There's also one called Scared Shrekless, which is a Shrek one. And they have to spend a night in Lord Farquaad's haunted castle, so that sounds like it's be hilarious. There's also Kiki's Delivery Service, which is like...
Oh my god, how could I have forgotten about that?
Right?
Oh my god, that is one of my absolute favorites. It's so good. And Howl's Moving Castle is good too, although...
Yeah, There's The Addams Family.
Yes! Oh my god, Lace, you're bringing me right back. I'm about to you need to send me this link because my roommate and I reckon she also has ADHD, but we've both been trying to watch movies for the past week, and we've just been so damn bored. We're just like... we get like 10 minutes into it, and we're just like, you paying attention?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Yeah, let's turn it off.
There's
those would hold our attention.
Beetlejuice.
Just stop saying, don't say it another time. Don't say it a third time.
Why?
Because that's how you summon him.
Oh, okay. I won't say it again. Also, there's that other movie that's got Edward Scissorhands, and The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh, and Casper Meets Wendy. Did you ever see Casper Meets Wendy?
Yes, I did. Oh my god, I feel so bad that like I've forgotten. I guess because Monster House is like my go-to. It's like my little comfort movie. It's like my little pacifier, my Halloween pacifier. But yeah, these are such good ones.
I did actually watch When Casper Meets Wendy, and I love that because it has Hilary Duff. There's Hocus Pocus, there's Ghostbusters, there's Halloween is Grinch Night, which is kind of fun. For some reason, they've got James and the Giant Peach, which I can see that.
What? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, mate, where have you been? That's such a great movie.
I'm so sorry.
Monsters, Inc. is under this list, which I can see that too, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's 7 p.m. for me right now. I've got plenty of time to watch all of those things.
Oh, Frankenweenie. Sorry. Cute. Coraline comes up as a Halloween movie, which is sort of
I can't watch that movie. Yeah. I cannot do it. Nope, I'm too little for that one. I can do the serial killers, but I cannot do alternate dimension where my parents... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That's so fun.
So good. I love Wallace and Gromit
Pook's
in general.
Heffalump Halloween movie. Poos, not Pooks, Poos. Winnie the Pooh, that's kind of fun. And Corpse Bride, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Anything Tim Burton, I feel like, can be a bit spooky.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta be careful, though, because
there's buttons for eyes.
Like Edward Scissorhands to, like, Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit intense.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode, this bonus episode. Unless you've got any other things you'd like to add.
No, I don't. I just want to say thank you to our listeners as usual. Thank you to everyone who's tuned into our episodes or mention it to others or whatever beautiful things that you're doing, interacting with us. We love you and we appreciate you, and happy Halloween.
Woo! Happy Halloween. And we will look forward to being back on schedule, hopefully in the next few weeks with some pretty consistent
We don't have a
content.
schedule. We'll just do stuff when we do it.
Yeah.
More
things. More things.
All right. So we will see you, creepy candy crew. Bye.
Bye. You're such a lame-o.